Hi, I'm Duty Bound, and I'm here with.
My name is Juan.
Nice to meet you, Juan.
Nice to meet you.
Now, we've got some questions here. Some of them are slightly offensive. Some of them.
I'm very offensive. Go
That's
ahead.
great.
Shoot from the hip.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to take a seat here with you.
Okay.
Selfie stick again as well.
Don't touch my leg and you're fine.
There's no worry of that.
Okay.
So, what do you think about the immigration crisis hitting North America and Europe as a whole?
Well, I don't have a problem with Europe because for centuries, Europe did nothing but to invade any other continent, destroy their economy, steal the resources, and now there are a few thousand, maybe a few million people from Africa are showing up to their shores and like, the doors to them. Now, I don't live there, so it's easy for me to say that from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Now, I remember when I came to this country, everybody at Tim Hortons was really nice and friendly. Now they're not.
There's a joke. You call
No,
it
they're
St.
not.
Martin's.
Yes, and it will be really easy for me to go and say something against the workers, but the fact that those workers came here with a student visa and they were promised citizenship or a path to citizenship, and now they're stuck making $16 an hour, being exploited.
Less often, yeah.
And a lot of them, when you talk to them, they're like, "Oh, I got my master's in math." And like, wow, this is like really smart people that are getting wasted, selling donuts. So, anyways, Tim Hortons is no longer a Canadian company, so it's an
Yeah.
American company.
So there's actually a thing I was trying to look into called wage trafficking, where these companies in India, they promise them minimum wage in Canada, which would be like 15, 16, whatever it is, I'm not sure. And by the time they get here, they're only getting like $10 maybe, because they're like, oh, the rest is going to the company
The company or to pay
as dues
this
or
and that.
whatever. And then they're stuck trying to survive on $10 an hour in our inflated economy, which is very hard to do.
Right.
Now,
I feel sorry for those guys because when I was already a permanent resident here, I was on my way to become a citizen. That was 13 years ago. The economy was really bad in Hamilton, so I got an offer to go to Edmonton, and they said you're gonna be working on the oil field, oil patch, and you're gonna be making $20-35 an hour.
or make money.
Yeah. So I went over there. It turned out it was not working on the oil patch. I was going to be doing asbestos removal. I have no idea what it was.
Oh.
Actually, the first couple of weeks I worked with it's called a half mask. That is illegal in this province. And then when I got paid, I was working like crazy hours, like 12 hours every day. And then when I got paid like $500 a week. And they said, oh, we're going to take money from taxes and from health. And because you're living in a house that we're providing for you. So anyways, I got stuck for like three months, and then I decided, you know what?
Get the hell out.
Yeah, get the hell out. I mean, this is not my people. I'm not a legal alien. I'm not a welfare cheating. So I just walk out of the company and walk out of the house they were providing for me, and I was surprised. I got a job like across the street, and everything was fine. But it was easy for me to walk away from that situation, but not for them. Not
Yeah.
the people that are get stuck, in those deals, and the fact that, that happens sadly all the time in Canada. One thing that surprised me is that why those companies running by certain people, why don't act according to Canadian law? Why it's always
something
their
that's
country?
happening worse and worse nowadays.
Like everybody acts according to their country. Like if I come here and start stealing and robbing, then why I left, right? I should stay home.
Yeah.
Like.
So there's something you brought up. You didn't really care about Europe. Now, I personally I need to focus on Canada, but there's in London. I still have a lot of family back there, and there's a lot of rape gangs going on, and they're targeting white people. And now white people don't have freedom of speech. It's crazy. If you watch, there's some good information online you can look up. Some good videos.
I remember there was some riots last year in London because they said that
every day now it's
that
there's rape gangs.
some Arab guy raped, and then it turned out it wasn't true, and then there was a mob, and then I don't think that minorities are the only rapists.
No, it's what it is. It's like
I don't think it's a cultural thing.
It's a religious thing. So and it's from these Pakistani rape
I
gangs?
barely remember that it was this case in the United States that a student, he got drunk at a party or something, and then he saw somebody, a woman passed out, so he raped her behind the dumpster.
And he had with the bottle.
And then he,
Is that with that Austin
no,
guy?
No. The thing is that this guy, his daddy was a lawyer.
Yep. Yeah.
A judge, sorry. So he got like, I don't know, 3 months because they said, oh, the poor guy's gonna suffer in jail. So I don't see the outrage when a white, rich or middle class kid does a raping, but if there is even the idea of that, oh, you know, somebody like the lynches in the United States, right? Back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
When they said, well, this kid disrespect me, so let's go and lynch him. So I think we're having the lynch mentality that a lot of times we don't.
Do you think that these
I don't think that
gangs don't exist?
I don't know. If there exists, then they should be applied the full of the law. But if they don't, if I have nothing to do with this, like I
know you don't. No.
If I have nothing to do, when I was living in the United States illegally, people came to me and they said, "So, what's your opinion about this?" Like I have any beef of that. So I mean, if somebody gets raped and it was done by a illegal alien or something, imagine if they go to your house and they burn you down.
If anybody gets raped, if anybody does the raping, I think the full extent of the law should be applied.
To that person, not to the whole group, not to the whole
No, anybody
religion.
that does it.
Yeah, but the way it's in Europe, like they make a huge thing, like, oh, it's the whole culture, it's part of the culture, like, oh, you're not.
Yeah, no, I almost did. Sorry.
Anyways, I'm a little bit concerned when they say a group of people are doing this because I don't know the facts.
Yeah, so there's actually, I could point, after this interview, I could actually show you some of the facts if you'd like.
Sure.
If you want.
Please convince me.
Pretty boring, yeah, but I will show you. And then what are your opinions about, there's a growing movement for mass deportation because there's a lot of people that are getting free money from the government. And so people that are poor now with the homeless crisis.
When I came to this country, they always said the government give you $30,000. Like, where's the money?
No. So with the homeless crisis growing, and it's at I can tell you firsthand. When I first came to Hamilton about a decade ago, it was nothing like this. Hamilton's always had a homeless problem and a drug addict problem, but now it's growing to an exceptional rate, and I just don't see why we could be handing out so much money before people that are already moved here, people that are already living here. We need to take care of them. We need to make sure the mental health care is taken care of. Where do you think the money should go first?
That is a loaded question because you already gave me the answer.
Oh, that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
I do believe that Mr. Ford is taking away money. I mean, he said it not today, not yesterday, but before the pandemic, he said he was going to take 20% of teachers, 20% of nurses, 20% of social workers. So 1 out of 5, they're going to lose their job, right? And that's exactly what he's trying to do. So now that the pie is being reduced, now us, like we, the poor people, are fighting for those, piece of the pie. Now, for some reason, whenever I walk here in downtown, I see the same picture. I see people like passing out or dying. Actually, I went to the welfare office today, and 2 guys just were like passed out on drugs, OD or something at the bus station. So the ambulance show up, and then you're thinking, how come it's always the same people, right? Now I have friends that they've been in situations like that. I may end up on the streets, and I know if you're trying to get into a shelter, you need to follow certain rules.
Yeah.
Like don't get high.
Yeah.
Don't show up drunk. And I mean, when you see those people, do you think it's gonna make a difference to them? Like
No.
It's sad.
Like I was volunteering at the Sal, and they're all still getting high, right? We're lucky to have a place like that because you don't want to be forcing them on the street.
I mean, if you go a couple of blocks that way, there are like so many, maybe not today, maybe today there's gotta be at least 20, 30 people there outside of that place for women. Everybody's getting high. Like there was a time people were hiding.
There's a lady passed out there, almost without clothes on.
There was a time that people would hide to get high. Now it's a public nuisance that is like, I mean, there are so many. And like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna like move into nice housing? Are you gonna give them help?
I think we need to focus on the crime aspect about it, right? Because if we stop the drugs from flowing, there's going to be less people getting access to it. And I'm not saying that's a full-on solution, but I think that would be a start. Now, I for one, have done a lot of drugs. I still sometimes do. I'm not perfect. I try to be, but I'm definitely not.
I have never ever done drugs in my life.
Okay. Well,
I will never
you're
do
better
any
than me.
drug. I will never do any drug that is
I've never done needles or anything like that.
like, dude, you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like
That's not my
everybody
father
knows.
passed.
I know people that died. Everybody knows somebody that died. And then, like, what is in the freaking head? Like, you know, let me try. Maybe I'm missing something in life. But like, no, dude. Start with pot, and you can move up if you have money and you became an accountant or a lawyer. Then you can do other stuff. But don't go straight to something that you know is gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And the stuff that is around right now seems to be so strong that I mean it's scary. You go anywhere in Hamilton, I just see people like passing out and like
doing like the hunch over
yes,
lane.
yes.
Looks like they're picking something off of it. Yeah, it's
But
upsetting.
how do you help? How you help them? You have to first of all you have to round that up, right? And that sounds like a fascist thing to do.
Yeah.
Then you have to force them to stop doing drugs, which that never works.
It has to be a choice, right?
And then you have to like put it in the system for what 10, 20 years maybe.
Well,
I mean, Boy George being rich and famous and a millionaire, he's been like 15, 20 years trying to teach dope, right? So how do you expect those guys living on the streets to?
So that's not a question I have the answer to right now. But I mean, I would assume that you'd have to have medical staff involved, and it would have to be a choice. But my opinion is what I said. You'd have to stop the drugs from flowing. And right now we have more criminal syndicates having the free reign in Canada than anywhere else. Well, more than I think it's like 60 or more % of all the drugs that get like hard drugs like fentanyl and cocaine that go into America are actually going across the Canadian border, and that's new. That didn't happen 20 years ago, and that's something that we.
I mean, the
really
fentanyl crisis had like 10 years, maybe a decade, and for what I heard or what I read or what I googled, it's manufactured in China, then sent to Mexico, so it can be delivered and spread out, throughout the world. And what can you do with that?
I believe that, I've heard that it was kind of like a revenge thing because back 100 years ago, the East India Company,
that was in China. That
dumped
was opium.
dumped off a lot, like a shit ton of heroin off the coast of China to get their population addicted. And a lot of people died from that. And so now they came out with fentanyl and carfentanil, and they partnered with cartels to flood it into our nations. And it's like when you think about that kind of a long game plan, it's kind of understandable where they care about their people, they want to get vengeance. And if that's that's true. Now I haven't looked into it enough, but I've read a few things about that.
The stuff that you're telling me, the scary part, and this is serious, is that everything you're telling me is true, but it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, no,
it was not part of a plan. It was not a plan like somebody says, in 100 years from now, we're going to invent this.
No, I'm not saying
That's
that.
not how it happened. I mean, the good British people said there's nothing, everything, they like everything from China, so they start buying from China, and they were paying with silver. And then all their silver was staying in China, so they didn't know, they were looking for a product that they can exchange, right? So then they went to India, they got the opium, and then they sell to China, and they pretty much destroyed the country for 100 years, for a century.
Oh, shit.
So the thing about the fentanyl is that it was created in the United States, and then China started producing that. I mean, it was medicine, right? I mean, it was a cancer medication. So you put it on patches.
Can I just refocus this question?
Okay.
So do you think?
I don't think there was a master plan.
Yeah, no, I agree. But do you think that it's racist when Nigerians don't want a bunch of Ghanaians in their country? Or when South Africans don't want a bunch of Nigerians in their country, which is happening right now?
I don't think there's an easy answer for that. I remember it was a massacre. I forgot.
There's a Christian genocide in Sudan, Iran, Nigeria.
Was it Sudan? I don't remember, but the point is that they start killing each other, like two tribes, and then it turned out that the Europeans were like financing the whole thing.
Well, no,
So
right
they
now
can take
it's
control
the
over the
Muslims
land.
are genociding the Christians in Nigeria. Like I go to a Nigerian church, and it's quite upsetting to a lot of them where the same people that are killing their families are now coming here.
Well, I mean, I don't know how old are you, but when I was 18 or 20, I was living in the United States, and that's when we have the Kosovo War, with the good Christians were killing the Muslims
Yeah, you
because they were bad.
yeah, bad
They were
people on all
they were
sides.
destroying the whole villages, and then when the Muslim people asked for guns so they can defend themselves, the West says, "Oh no,
Yeah.
please be peaceful. Like let us do more killing, let us like wipe out half of your population, and then the United Nations is gonna show up and defend you." Anyways, I remember that I was not like I had a beef on that, but I was feeling like, how's that possible that we can just sit here and see like they want to wipe out the whole population, Muslim population from Eastern Europe, and the West is not doing anything. Like I
Well,
couldn't
do you
believe
do you,
that.
do you believe that the Christian genocide from the Muslims is happening, or no?
I do believe that Israel had no problem killing everybody.
No,
from
no, but
Palestine,
I'm not
including
talking.
Christians.
I don't like Zionists at all. But I
Including
mean, but
Christians.
I know I don't like Zionists at all. But do you believe that the Christian genocide is taking place or no?
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Now, if we go through history,
What
how many
what do you
times?
think?
How many
What do you
times the
think should
Christians
be
have
done
wiped
about
out
it? What do you
all
think
the
should be done
religions?
about it?
Like, I'm pretty sure every situation is different. I'm not that smart.
Yeah. So just let's say, what country do you want to take? Nigeria, Iran, Sudan?
Iran. I do believe in Iran. We had Christians, Muslims, and Jewish living together for hundreds of years, for centuries.
And then
And
there was
their
there was
issue.
the burqa protest where they didn't want to wear the thing, and then they started killing the protesters.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not saying one side is good. I'm saying both sides are bad sometimes.
Yeah, no. What would you say? What do you think should be done about it, or anything? Do you think nothing should be done?
I
or-
think the West should be taking care of the West first.
Yep.
And not using excuses to go and invade
Yeah.
another country. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure the woman who wasn't wearing a burqa, that was the punishment was too high for any standards. And then when
Yeah, it
the
was the
United
law. It
States,
was the
they
law you
goes,
had to wear.
then they goes and blow a school full of women. It's like, where's the logic?
Yeah.
Or is the solution better than the problem? Or I'm just maybe argumentative.
So what do you think? What do you think? So do you think it's okay for African countries to remain primarily African, or do you think it's okay for Asian countries to remain primarily Asian,
If you look at the
or
story
do you
of,
think white nations is okay to remain primarily white?
I mean, I
Do you
don't
think
know.
that's okay in any
We have a
state?
completely different point of view. When you look at the
Yeah, that's
history
fine.
of Africa, there's never been, there's only Ethiopia, the only pure African nation. The rest has been colonized by Europeans.
Well,
and
most of
exploited.
them are well over 90% black, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the one
Which
on the
isn't
top,
a problem to me.
The one on the top is the one doing the exploitation, right? The ones controlling the nation.
Which nation would you say is being currently
Like
controlled?
every single nation in Africa except Ethiopia has been colonized at one point.
Yeah, Ethiopia has a
The
pretty
only one.
badass story.
That's the only one that hasn't been colonized in the whole history. I do believe, maybe I'm wrong, but every other nation has been part of a European colony. So when the Europeans come and exploit it, I mean, what they were doing any good?
Are you
They were
asking?
doing, yeah.
I think there was good. I do think there was
There's a lot of exploitation. Yeah.
I think they built a lot of good things. And
I mean,
the
they
foundation
didn't
for
go
modern
to
countries.
colonize. They didn't go to teach them English or French. They went there because they have resources, right? They have gold. They have.
Yeah, it was a race to get resources between different European countries.
I mean, the whole
And-
World War I was about colonies, right?
No,
pretty much.
that was actually I believe that one was about an assassination.
Yeah, but they were fighting for colonies, for expansion of their colonist empire.
Well, they actually gave out after the wars. They gave up
Their
their
colonies, because
They
that
gave
was
them up.
basically what they were fighting for. The
Um,
killing of our Archduke was just their what ignited World War I, but there was they were fighting for colonies. That's what I learned in school. Maybe because that's also one thing I noticed that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I noticed because I'm passionate about history. that the history I learned in my country is not the history, same classes that I took in the United States that were like completely different point of view.
Yeah, they're both indoctrinations.
And then you came to Canada, and then you got like a third option. So like pretty much everybody takes,
Yeah, you got to take history with a grain of salt.
Right.
But presently, what do you think should be done about immigration in Canada? What do you think should be done about Christian genocides, or any kind of genocide?
Well, this is what I learned when I was a young person. They said that we need to build a pyramid. We're basically building a pyramid, so we need more people coming, so they can take up the elderly, right? Because for some reason Canadians are not having kids, so you need a constant influx of immigrants. Now, some people are saying that we got to the point that there's too many people from India, too many people from Pakistan. How was a Mexican that came here 20 years ago? I'm gonna say, yes, let's close the door. There's too many of you guys, but like when I talk to Mexican people, they said, "Oh, we Mexicans, we work hard," and I'm like, "Doing what? Construction? Selling drugs? Like what exactly we do so hard that it's okay for us to come, but not for the guy behind us to come?"
So
I cannot say close the door behind me, even though I said that to you.
So actually, for decades,
But how
there's
can I
a
say
lot
that?
of the media, like the Jewish media, was telling us we shouldn't have kids because there's too many people. And then all of a sudden, it switched to saying there's not enough. So it's very odd that that's to me, like that's why I don't like the media, like the Jewish media, just because I think they're trying to make us all fight. And I think that do you want to know my opinion?
Sure.
Okay, so my opinion.
Maybe I can learn something new.
My opinion is that every group of people deserve to have their own country and deserve the right to manifest destiny in their own nations. Now, I do believe that we should be able to travel freely between nations, but I do not believe that if I should be able to go to Pakistan or Arabia or Africa or Asia, China, Japan, and dictate how they live. I think they should dictate how they live. And I think my people should dictate how we live. And I think if I like the way Japan's living or Saudi Arabia's living, I should be able to go and live by their laws. Does that sound bad?
No, but I mean, you already know that it's very hard to move to Japan, right? You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know that Japan is closed border, right? They don't accept people.
And I think that's their right if that's what they want.
And then when you go to Mexico, all of a sudden you see, and it's wrong that I'm saying this, but you see a whole bunch of Asians and a whole bunch of Japanese people, and now you have a Korean store doing nails, and I'm thinking wait a second, these people were here 5 years ago. Would I be able to go to Korea?
Do you not want that there?
Well, would I be able to go to Korea and open a taco shop the same way they come to my country and if they're successful?
So would you like to push for more isolationist in Mexico?
No, I think that as an immigrant, I've been an immigrant all my life.
Well, if you were home,
what I want or what I now have to believe doesn't agree with the life I've been living. I was in the United States illegally 15 years. I never committed a crime. I was a hardworking people. I still got kicked out. I came to Canada, I got a second chance. Things got better. So for me to say no to immigration would be hypocrisy, right? Maybe I said, well, that's because I'm a hardworking person.
I think you deserve to have an opinion.
And the people behind me doesn't, or I cannot say close the borders or close, because that's not the way I live. And I also remember when I was in school, somebody said that a border, it's an imaginary line that divides two countries. And the part that I got is not the two countries, but it was imaginary. When I went to Tijuana, I jumped the fence, I broke the law, and I said, hey, I'm in the United States. So why would I let a border to stop, or a wall or a fence to stop from living my life?
Yeah. A lot of us feel that way.
Now when Europeans arrive to America or to a continent, you think they care about the laws?
So, do you think, have you noticed the degradation in quality of life in Canada over the last 10 years?
That's everywhere. That's in Mexico, that's in South America.
But have you noticed it in Canada?
It's really bad, yes. Yeah. It's really bad. There is no more public services. Going back to immigrants, I say people that, immigrants came here and they get $30,000. When I came here, I didn't get the 30,000.
Okay, sorry. Can I on this?
So that's a myth that the press is propagating what they said.
Can you ask that again?
when I came here, people say that immigrants get X amount of money, 30, 50, whatever amount of money.
There's certain rules that apply.
That didn't happen to me.
There's actually video. No, it's actually it was certain people's.
That never
Certain
happened to me.
peoples get it.
So when people like throw that at me, like, hey, you know, immigrants is like, where's my money? I
And
didn't
my
get the check.
grandparents didn't get it
I
either.
didn't get the check, right?
So on the immigrant thing, so do you feel that Canadians who are feeling bothered by the degradation of quality of life, and they feel that they want to stem the tide of the massive influx of certain immigrants, do you believe that they have the right to feel that way?
So if my rent goes up, who I'm gonna blame?
Well, no,
gonna
I'm just
blame-
talking about like.
Okay, let's be precise. Like, who I'm gonna blame if my rent goes up? I'm gonna blame the poor immigrant that just arrived, or I'm gonna blame my landlord that's
But do you
all of
believe
a
they have
sudden
the
became
right to
breathing.
feel that way?
I think that,
Whether they should or not is irrelevant. Do you think they have the right?
I mean, if you're upset that you're right? I've been following this guy on YouTube. Like, he goes to Walmart and he checks all the weights of the products, and they're always off. Now, who are you gonna blame? Are you gonna blame